All right, as we look at this second part, second half, turn to the second page. Change in y over change in x, slope is little m, and once again the equation. Once again, every single problem tonight on the homework, John, let's write the equation. So after you write the problem down, you write the equation down. So I'm going to have to label some points here. Annalise, I'm going to make it your choice. Do you want A to be 0.1 or 0.2? Okay, so let's label these. x1, y1, x2, y2. When you label them like that, I found historically, Jake, people make less mistakes. That's all. My last hour class, someone didn't label it, and I went to check their work, and they mixed them up. But if they label them, you typically don't make it. So let's, over here on the left, write the equation. y2 minus y1, x2 minus x1, and let's plug them in. Go ahead, Elliot, start me off. y2 minus y1.
7 minus 4.
Okay, Shelby? x2 minus x1. Shelby.
That's a little off.
Sydney, that too.
What?
x2 minus x1.
5 minus 0. I mean 5 minus negative 2.
5 minus negative 2. I was thinking of Shelby Fritz. So, 6 over how much? 7. So as I'm looking at this point, from the point negative 2, 1, which way do you go? Do you go up or down? You go up 6 and over how far? 7. There's a sketch. Sketch. How did I get those points so quickly? I just went up 6 and over 7. Why do I go over to the right? You always run to the right. Is this a positive? Is it a positive here? Okay. It's going up, so it's a positive. So a couple things in terms of our understanding there. All right, example 2, or example 4. Yes, sir. No. It's just a demonstration to help you get a better visual. Some people like that visual, and so I do it just to help with the visual. All right. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let's plug it in. Let's go to Tara and Sarah. Tara, take the y's. Good. Sarah? All right. So I get 2 over 2, which is a slope of what? 1. Or 1 over 1. Either one would be construed correct. All right? 1 over 1. Hunter, just for perspective's sake. 2, 6. I go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. Basic sketch. A slope of 1 is what degree? Can you help me there? What degree is this? What degree angle? Up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. What degree is that with the horizontal? What's that angle right there? Not a 90. 45. It's exactly a 45 degree angle. A lot of roofs nowadays have a 45 degree angle when you're north of a certain point in the United States because it keeps snow and it helps snow to slide off them so you don't get too much weight on a roof. It's an engineering thing. So if you're interested in engineering, that's something that you might be dealing with down the road. All right. Important point there. When it's a whole number, you can either have the whole number or over 1. You may not leave it as 2 over 2, though. Moving down.
Mr. McDonell?
Yes, sir.
I have a question. Say you got 3 over 3 or 4 over 4. Would it still be 1?
It's still going to be 1. You're always going to reduce. But you can write it as either 4 over 1 or just 4. Now, down the road, we're just going to change that to 4. But for right now, think slope. Rise over run. I always like to think of a fraction.
Okay.
Moving down. Where is point E? In what quadrant? Little review. What quadrant is point E?
First.
Okay. What about point F?
1.
Do not say the answer, but see if you can predict the number for the slope. Just write it down. If you think you can predict it, raise your hand. Mr. Acosta. Why? It's in between a negative and a positive. And on the number line, what's the only thing in between negatives and positives? 0. Now let's prove what John just said. I'm going to call this point 1. I'm going to call that point 2. So m equals, once again, we're writing down our equation on every problem. Luke, can you take me through it? What's the y2 minus y1?
3 and minus 3.
Good. All right. Hunter, x2 minus x1.
4 minus 1.
So 3 minus 3 is 0. 4 minus 1 is 3. What is 0 over 3? 0. As you're thinking about the slope is 0. And we know the slope of 0 is what kind of line? What is that called? Horizontal. Just so we're very clear on terminology. Horizontal. So if I say, what is the slope of a horizontal line? Should that be a difficult question? Hopefully not. The slope is 0. Now, Hunter.
What did you mean by it's negative or positive? So that you automatically go to 0.
Oh, on the number line, here are the negatives. Here are the positives, right?
What was negative on that?
As you do a line, okay? See this line right here, how it's going down? Here's the red one going up. As I go from negatives to positive slope, what am I passing through?
0.
The horizontal, right? The horizontal has a slope of 0. My line is passing through that horizontal line. Here's the negative slopes. Here's the positive slopes. There's the slope of 0.
I just don't know how you got that from ENF.
Well, it's a horizontal line. And we talked about before with our arms, a horizontal line is slope of 0. Okay? All right, here's my last two. 4, 2, G, 4, negative 1, H. Vertical line. Write down, if you remember, what you write here. Don't say it, just write it down. There was 2 words that we're going to accept as answers. I don't think I told you about this option. One option is called no slope. The other option, Scotty? Undefined. Good. Either one of those is acceptable. But in both cases, it's vertical. Now let's prove this. x1, y1, x2, y2. What's y2 minus y1? Someone tell me. What numbers am I putting in there? Katie?
Negative 1 and 2.
Okay. And my x1 and x2. What's my x2 minus x1? Briar?
4 minus 4.
4 minus 4. I read that to be negative 3 over 0. Is that right?
Yeah.
On your calculator, when you divide by 0, what does your calculator say? I'm curious what your different calculators say. Jonathan, you have a graphing one. What does yours say?
Error, divide by 0.
Error, divide by 0. That really doesn't tell us anything. Briar, what's yours say?
Divide by 0, error.
Divide by 0, error. Seems like Texas Instruments has the same kind of response. Anyone have anything different?
Minus
What?
Divide by 0, error.
Divide by 0, error?
It says undefined.
Okay, finally I have a calculator that says something that I'm looking for. Whenever you're dividing by 0, it's undefined. What does that mean to be undefined?
That we don't.
There is not a definition, there is not an answer. That's why when I say, what is the slope, you say, there isn't one.
Can you say no solution?
No, because there is a solution. The solution is the fact there isn't a slope. It's like, how many marbles do I have in my hand?
I don't know.
Nothing.
Is there any?
Okay, I don't have it in my hand. Okay, so no slope is the answer. A vertical line has no slope, or if I say, what is the slope of a vertical line? Say undefined. Either one of those answers would be the acceptable. But don't ever say 0 for a vertical. 0 slope is what? Horizontal. Okay? Questions?
What would be the answer?
The answer would be, given the 2 points, graph them, find the slope. The answer would be no slope.